I cannot believe the stupidity of the news I'm about to share with you, and a word of warning, this is going to get a bit ranty. An application for battery storage units at the UK's biggest solar farm has been refused. Cleve Hill Solar Park at Graveney in Kent was given government approval in May 2020. The plans require a 150 megawatt battery facility over 25 acres, that's quite a big space by the way, to store energy generated by 880,000 solar panels. If you didn't know, solar panels absorb free energy from the sun, which can be stored in batteries and used when the sun goes down. Rinse and repeat every day for the rest of time. This is A. Clean, cheap, sustainable energy for tens of thousands of local homes. B. A step towards energy independence and reducing reliance on the Middle East and Russian fossil fuels. C. Clean energy means less dirty energy, which might be quite nice for those suffering with asthma, lung and breathing conditions. But campaigners raised safety concerns about the lithium ferrophosphate, which are LFP batteries, to store the energy. A protest was held outside Swale Borough Council's offices in Sittingbourne ahead of a planning committee meeting on Wednesday. LFP batteries are, according to this lot, more subject to explosion risk than other types, according to a Swale Borough Council report. Committee members rejected the battery safety management plan for the site after nearly 4 hours of debate. LFP batteries are extremely stable and safe, as is the battery management software that controls storage systems like these. LFP batteries have superior thermal stability thanks to their chemistry, making them resistant to thermal runaway even under extreme conditions. BYD, who are one of the world's largest electric vehicle and battery manufacturers, banged a nail into an LFP blade battery just to show how safe they are to deal with. It's a flat-out lie to say they are more subject to explosion risk than any other types of batteries. The solar farm, which is under construction near Faversham, could generate renewable power for more than 91,000 homes. That's 91,000 homes that would for decades to come be benefiting from this project, that perhaps wouldn't be getting its energy from coal, gas or other destructive pollution-causing means. Committee members refused the battery management plan on grounds of a lack of water storage facilities on site. Well, that seems an easy fix then. Pop a water tank on it. A lack of access to the battery storage area. Build another road. And the lack of an evacuation emergency plan for nearby residents. Make a plan. Here, I'll make a start for you. Assuming it's on fire someday, which is extremely, extremely unlikely. Number 1, put the kettle on, make a nice cup of tea. Number 2, do nothing because it's frigging miles away from your homes anyway. And number 3, leave that to the fire brigade. Sir David Melville, a physicist and vice chair of the Faversham Society, said the battery plans posed unacceptable risk of fire, explosion and the emission of toxic gases. Harrison notes on X, there is a nice new battery storage facility full of Tesla Megapacks on the exit from the M25 to M1. Surely if it can go next to the UK's main arterial road network, it can go in a farm in the middle of nowhere. Graveney councillor Mike Newman said, the village is extremely anxious and worried. The plans to communicate an incident to them, or to help them escape, or survive do not exist. It's not a crumbling 100-year-old nuclear power plant or an atom bomb production facility, is it? Let's do what no one seems to have done here and look at some facts. There has been just one known serious fire from a Tesla Megapack. No one died, by the way, no injuries, not like the countless deaths from people working on oil rigs and petroleum refineries, or the deaths from all those wars over oil. No, just one little block of batteries in Australia caught fire at a site containing 212 Megapacks, which spread partially to one more block next to it before the fire was contained and put out. Over on Energy Storage News, which I've just found, it says, Tesla has already taken steps to prevent a repeat incident. It is important to note that some of the circumstances which caused the fire are unlikely to be repeated when the system is in normal operation. As the unit was undergoing testing, it had been manually disconnected from some of the usual monitoring, control and data collection that it would be hooked up to. High winds also contributed to the fire's propagation, despite the units being properly spaced apart as per requirements. Tesla has already addressed many of the factors which led to this isolated incident, including improved inspection procedures for coolant systems and adding more alarms to the Megapack's telemetry. The villagers believe that they are being treated as the acceptable collateral damage at the altar of your ambitions. Oh, greedy ambitions coming around here with your clean renewable energy storage projects that will benefit everyone. Paul Gregory, a consultant with BST&T, which was hired by Swale Borough Council to scrutinise the proposal, said of the safety plan, I was fully satisfied that the content and protocols were fit for purpose. Sheppey County Council Andy Booth proposed to add conditions to the application, but councillors voted against it. Here's the extra safety measures we've put in place. Get off my land! He later walked out of the meeting saying the decision was a travesty. Which is exactly what it is. Just take a look at the faces of these Luddites, who are rejoicing having set back our country's ability of producing and storing clean renewable energy through their ignorance and stupidity. I do wonder where they might have heard such fear-mongering, such terror of collecting and storing sunshine and all the death and destruction that brings. Well done, mainstream media. Your deliberate misinformation campaigns about EVs, batteries, solar panels, wind farms, all the things that are working brilliantly if you bothered to check and to shift us away from burning stuff. All this clickbait BS has successfully brainwashed a good proportion of the general public, who genuinely now think that batteries bad, EVs bad, wind farms bad, solar bad, yet somehow fossil fuels are just dandy. I guarantee that these folks who say they are worried about battery fires power their homes with flammable gas, drive around in highly flammable internal combustion engines spewing toxic gas, probably live next door to a petrol station where things like this can happen.
A blaze at a liquid petroleum gas fueling station. Fire crews comfortable the greatest risk had passed until a tremendous explosion.
But why would they worry about things like that when the real enemy is storing sunshine? Richard Simmons says it best on X. This lot stopped good things happening. Seriously, they should be ashamed of themselves. In a few years, they'd have departed this earth, but the next generations will be battling the consequences of their ignorance. This is pathetic. Amazing a physicist objects to toxic gases from a battery, yet happy to presumably drive a combustion car. I couldn't agree more, Richard. Well said. Perhaps the reason I'm not afraid of battery energy storage projects is that I spent the day touring one, the Pillswood project in Yorkshire. I wonder how many of these folks took the time to research the hundreds if not thousands of battery storage projects around the world before contributing to the slowdown of clean air for their grandchildren. I believe there are 57 Megapack facilities in operation in the UK, with all these currently in planning. Let's hope the residents and councils of these locations aren't quite as ill-informed as those at Swale Borough Council. Here at Cottingham, I saw the safety systems in place, such as constantly monitored batteries thanks to the software running the system, by Tesla and the owners of the site, by the way. If any slight issue is detected in one portion of the batteries, it can be isolated and turned off. I saw the many thermal cameras surrounding and pointing at all the batteries, constantly monitoring their temperature. But overall, to see the good they provide is amazing. They store energy from Dogger Bank wind farm off the east coast, which is then used to stabilise the grid and be called upon when necessary, eliminating the need to fire up a coal power plant or peaker plant, for example. More of these projects are most certainly needed if we want to move away from expensive, polluting, war-creating, oil-hungry energy means. So a great big congratulations to the Luddites that are halting progress for generations to come. Well done, you absolute muppets. If you want to learn more about Europe's largest battery energy storage project, if of course it hasn't exploded yet, click this video next. Thanks to my patrons, these amazing chaps. I'm Will, this is the Tesla Jigsaw. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.